Welcome to the HLSC 2P40 Aging and Technology presentation. Through a series of articles, Group 6 will be examining the relationship between the negative effects of technology and how they influence one's aging process. Let's begin.
Introduction. The rapid acceleration of technology has provided modernized healthcare and hospitals, socially connected individuals, and enhanced treatment and alternative care plans. However, this has led to emerging flaws in this technological integration. It is financially inaccessible, it generates social discrepancies, and poor support from community, such as it requires reform within the social determinants of health.
Ways of prevention include 1. Increase awareness of practical apps and devices that are useful. This can be done by gaining knowledge in what a computer is and promotion from companies of apps that are less complex to use. 2. Make technology more user-friendly. The companies should be focusing on developing software and apps that attend to the changing needs in different ages, ethnicities, and computer competency. 3. Increase technology education to older adults. This is to help enhance their computer literacy. This can be done by the individual themselves, by visiting a local library or bookstore and have them read up on books to help them learn how to use different types of technology. An example of a book is the Internet for Dummies, or if they already have access to a computer, they can search up instructional videos online via the website such as techboomers.com.
There are a variety of technologies used to help seniors, and here are just some of the many devices. Tablets such as iPads with a touchscreen function are useful for video chatting, playing games, and watching videos. Cell phones and smartphones give seniors the ability to stay connected to loved ones and caregivers, as well as to call for help in case of an emergency. Home monitors are great when they are placed in a senior's home to communicate information back to a caregiver. Assistive technology devices such as Amazon Echo and Google Home devices can help seniors feel comfortable in their home, as well as perform daily activities with just their voice. And lastly, wearable technology such as the medical alert bracelet or necklace that connects to a phone line allows them to communicate just by a push of a button that help is needed. Smartwatches and fitness tracking devices can help seniors stay fit with functions to monitor step counts, heart rate, count calories, and even track sleep.
This qualitative study, Technology to Support Aging in Place, Older Adults Perspective, discusses the senior perspective in regards to technology. This study included 2 focus groups held at a local retirement community in San Diego, California in August 2018. The study was done in conjunction with a longitudinal and observational study involving over 100 residents. The data was collected by a focus group and survey methodology. The focus group session was 90 minutes where the seniors were asked open-ended questions. The protocol for the focus group was determined by the responses of use and interest in technology and connections to personal health, preferences for involvement in participatory designs of AI-assistive aids, familiarity with terms, concepts, and processes associated with the design of AI aids for aging in place, and advice and preferences for how technology development experts should most effectively communicate such information to enable an authentic and informed participatory design process. As for the survey, the questions were used to determine demographics of those who participated. The qualitative results of this study show that seniors felt that there were many different barriers, such as technology usability, technology literacy, data management and privacy, and technology co-design. In addition, the study also mentioned a few ways to eliminate this, such as working with seniors for more age-friendly technology.
In the qualitative study, Smartphone-Based Health Technologies for Dementia Care, Opportunities, Challenges, and Current Practices focuses on the pros and cons of technology that is offered currently to caregivers for people with Alzheimer's. Most people with dementia are non-institutionalized, receiving care by unpaid family caregivers. 70% of these caregivers are close family members, such as spouses or children, and nearly 80% of all caregivers suffer from depression or distress due to lack of resources and support. Technology is shown to reduce the caregiver strain, however, there are limited accessibility due to the lack of available resources, no education on how to use the technology, and language barriers. This study reviewed 30 smartphone apps that had a primary function of supporting and/or educating caregiver consistent with self-perceived needs of dementia. They assessed the current readability and overall quality of the app. The results shown from this study revealed there were only 13 eligible apps out of the 30 reviewed. They found that only 2 apps offered language in Dutch and German, and 1 in Chinese. None of the apps offered a Spanish language option. This already makes it increasingly more difficult and creates language barriers. Majority of the apps only offered a readability score at a 9th grader's level. If the readability of a text is at a 9th grade or greater, the elderly population will have difficulty reading words, sentences, and materials. It also showed that only 2 apps allowed for a wearable device to monitor the recipient's sleep and activities, as well as only 2 apps provided clinician feedback. This makes it more difficult for the caregiver if they are a spouse and rely on that clinician feedback in order to provide for their loved one. In conclusion, the researchers found that overall, the smartphone apps need to promote family-centered care by actively involving the caregiver in care planning. There is also an increasing need for culturally competent apps by including more languages and translations. They also need more support and training for varying levels of literacy and computer competency in older adults. For future research, they mentioned about increasing funding for apps to include representation of all types of users. The study had a few drawbacks, such as only reviewing apps that were in English. They also may have missed some smartphone apps that weren't reviewed. However, they mentioned that they had 2 investigators to conduct searches, and it's unlikely Alzheimer caregivers looking for an app would find one that they didn't locate.
This qualitative study focuses on older adults' perceptions of technology and barriers to interacting with tablet computers. For the study, 18 older adults aged from 65 to 76 years were selected, of which 83.3% were female. All of them were Novus tablet users who participated in discussions about their perceptions of and barriers to interacting with tablets. 3 separate focus groups were conducted, and the generic qualitative design was used, applying thematic analysis to analyze the data. A summary of the themes and sub-themes of the discussion of the focus groups is presented on the table besides. None of the participants had any previous experience with tablet computers whatsoever. For the study, the participants rated their tablet experience on a 5-point Likert scale ranging from 1 to 5, meaning poor to excellent. 94.4% of them, meaning the majority of participants, rated their experience good to excellent, and 66.6% said they would be likely or very likely to use a tablet in the future. They liked the following about the experience. 33.3% liked the access to information, the same liked the tablet size, 16.7% liked the portability, 11.1% liked the screen clarity, and 5.6% liked the versatility. The least desirable things include not knowing how to use it, which was for 27.8%, the same amount for small buttons and keyboards, and the same for sensitivity to touch. Sensitivity to size include 5.6%, and 11.1% reported no negative aspects whatsoever. The same results are presented in a cross-classification figure besides, where blue color indicates poor to fair opinion, orange indicates good opinion, and gray represents very good to excellent opinions. In conclusion, the findings suggest that the majority of participants were eager to adopt new technology and willing to learn using a tablet. However, concern about the process of learning was noted. Participants voiced apprehension about lack or unclear instructions and support.
This quantitative study aimed to analyze the technological barriers and needs of people with dementia. They interviewed and conducted 2 experiments on them, in which they were told to operate 2 types of devices. The first was a VR and the second was a tablet. The main findings of the study were that 33% had the belief that technical support cannot assist them, while 40% had difficulty answering as they were not aware of the capabilities of technology. Post-experiments, both devices were highly accepted, with 80% for the VR and 93% for the tablet. When questioning whether they have had experience with computerized cognitive training, all the answers were negative. Finally, some needs identified were the lack of involvement in regular social activities as well as the desired support in activities of daily living. This table displays the results of the questionnaires and experiments presented in 3 categories: demographical information, technological beliefs, and lastly, needs. Key takeaways and conclusions drawn from the study were that people with dementia have major needs and are not aware of the benefits technology can provide in order to adopt it into their daily use. The results suggest that promotion in technological interventions focused on increasing social activities would be very beneficial for those with dementia, as it can decrease depression and social isolation tendencies.
So there is still further research when examining the weak relationship seniors carry with technology. In the above study by Peake et al. Enlightens us with several revelations for aging and technology, more specifically within the Canadian senior population. The first theme highlighted in the study calls for the action in supporting our seniors and integrating technology in their daily lives. This subsequently leads to addressing concerns on their physiological and mental state when integrating these methods. Another point, however, that the article highlights is the elderly abuse at hand when they are using technology, as statistics show seniors being highly susceptible to scams and viruses on many platforms of media. Given the structure of the study, Peake et al. Emphasize the importance of intersectionality when assessing a senior's technological concerns and how it can be implemented into developing a more positive relationship with technology. When a senior's social determinants of health, such as their race, socioeconomic status, or their community, when these domains are neglected or ignored, this can damage the perception and necessity of technology for the senior citizen. Therefore, Peake et al. Concluded that a senior's acceptance of technology is critical in streamlining their process in accepting technology in their daily lives and ultimately validates them within Canadian society. Furthermore, another study similarly carries elements to that of the previous one before. This study, done by Van Derzen and Helsper, looked at European seniors compared to Canadian seniors, but it still retains similar themes which we will see here. Derzen and Helsper examined the impacts of the social determinants of health and how they've indirectly or directly impacted a senior's support, perception, and ability to integrate technology in their daily lives. As seen in the table, there was a correlation within their educational level, technological literacy, and even their household composition that has impacted their regression or non-use access. I would like to highlight the connections between this study and the one previously before, as although both studies took place in different countries, it should be seen that senior hesitancy towards technology remains consistent regardless of the country. One of the biggest problems, as found in both studies, that they face with technology, given a poor support system, a senior can experience a generational divide and furthermore isolation as they undergo their aging process. Many seniors, depending on their race, status, gender, and etc., undergo these divides as technology permutates and evolves constantly throughout the years.
From the data collected overall, the qualitative studies focused more on the data collected through participant observation as well as the quality of the technology, whereas the quantitative study analyzes data through numerical comparisons and statistical inferences, as well as addressing more mental and physical risk and its impact on the aging process. The main similarities we found between the two types of studies was about technology usability, finding majority of the participants having trouble and a hesitancy toward the product. Also, the need for more implications for being more age-friendly, such as making the font readable, increasing button sizes, and increasing the number of languages available. Finally, they had common knowledge that older adults are eager to learn, but there is a lack of guidance and assistance. By taking these barriers into consideration, technology can be beneficial and used with all ages.
Some strategies we have for the future include working one-on-one with seniors. So this includes working in collaboration with seniors and figuring out what is difficult for them, resources on how to use technology, such as tutors and senior tech services. We can validate seniors' hesitancy in using technology and avoiding ED. Next, we have promotion and accessible media. This includes emphasizing the benefits of modern technology through TV and radio. We can provide posters regionally and through Canadian interest groups. And lastly, we have government funding. This includes increasing funds for development and for more user-friendly apps, mitigating funds for senior support and generating technology decision-making framework, so we shift to digital alternatives to slowly increment the process of technology, avoiding gentrification of communities with higher senior populations.